What is up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy. And today we are going to be talking about the disappearance and death of a girl named Katelyn Markham. But before we get into the case, let's have a sister chat.
What?
Sister chat.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, Bev. It's like I didn't just see you like 3 hours ago. Bev brought her baby over to see me earlier today.
I did.
And it was pretty smooth, right?
Yeah, he honestly napped pretty well at your house. It actually did shock me.
Yeah, because you were a little worried. Everyone knows how important baby sleep is.
Yeah, it's so important, honestly.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. Like I'm really wondering how some moms, like new moms, are getting out and about. Because I just have so much like anxiety about the whole thing. I'm like, if it's not in his wake window, like I can't do it. I got to get over that. But yeah, it's been surprising at how like weird I am about it. Like leaving the house feels hard for some reason. So I'm actually proud of myself for getting over to your house and hanging out.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, I'm so proud of my sister. She's a fabulous mom. She left her house today. Like, oh my God, she's doing so good.
You're like my number one hype woman. I actually really like it.
Yes, Bevy.
You're like, you left the house. Good for you. Look at how proud I am of you. I do like the basic shit. You're like, proud of you, girl. Love it. You're doing so good. My baby sister. Look at her killing life. And I'm like,
you're like, what am I doing here?
yeah, like, oh, Becky's so nice.
Yeah. I know. Well, I am proud of you. Like, it's not just fake. I really am. It's the little things, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
I know you are. You're the best. You're the best sister, I gotta say.
Oh my God, thanks. Well, Bev.
What?
On top of your successes, Calgary made it through another year of Stampede.
Yeah.
It's finally commenced.
With like the most measles outbreaks ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's not just Calgary, it's Alberta. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I meant to say like Alberta, but like, holy shit. Craig was telling me that we have more like cases than the entirety of the US. I was like, I'm disappointed in us.
Like, as a province.
Yeah.
I know, like.
Totally.
Do people, like, I'm not, like, one to judge all that much, but, like, vaccinations. Things are eradicated for a reason. And you know what? I don't even care who hears what I'm saying, because they're important for a goddamn reason. And people who just refuse, like, what are you thinking? Do you, like, want to get the measles? Is that, like, you woke up and was like, you know what? I want to take that risk. I do want the measles.
That splotchy rash all over my body, I want it.
Yeah. Like, that's...
And all the other things that go with it.
Right? Did you ever see House Bunny?
Yeah, I have seen House Bunny.
You know, at the end when she goes into, like, the, like... Not, like, the court, but, like, the sorority court. And she's like, and I took that erythromycin or whatever thing is. Anyone who's seen it knows I'm erythmycin. I don't know.
Don't look to me. I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I don't know, but she was like allergic. She's like, but it gave me a glow and I felt beautiful. That's what I'm thinking about the measles. Like, are you all just like insecure? It's not even about the vaccination.
You need a measles glow up? Yeah, it was eradicated. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, so.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
But that's why I told Becky, I was like, we could go out. And I was like, nah, I don't want to take my chances with Colioli. I'm just going to come over to your house. I know there's no measles there.
Yeah. So in saying that, like, it was a big step for you to get out of the house, like, with the measles outbreak and shit. So, you know,
going on.
One more, like, little congratulations for you, Bev. That was a big step.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, over here, I cannot hear your clapping. I can just see you clapping on our Zoom meeting. I wonder what it sounds like in the microphone.
Okay.
Wop, 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 wop.
Okay, if you hear that, I truly was clapping. I was trying not to bust your ears, so you're welcome.
And if you didn't hear it, she was clapping.
Yeah, so
there you
go. All right, Bev.
Well,
we are on the same wavelength. Let's get into the case.
Right. Let's get into it. Okay, so this case happened in August of 2011. 21-year-old Katelyn Markham vanished without a trace from her home in Fairfield, Ohio. Now, a little bit about Katelyn. She was born on August 16th of 1989 in Ohio. Becky, the same year as you. She grew up in a very close-knit family. Her and her younger sister, Allie, were very close with her parents, which is kind of interesting because their parents were divorced, yet they stayed pretty close even after that, which, you know, I'm sure that's really great for the kids involved in that family.
Yeah.
Because divorces can, like, tear a family apart, but this one didn't.
It did not.
And Katelyn, she was especially close with her father, Dave, which I understand. We're daddy's girls.
And our dad's name is Dave.
That too.
What's up, Pops?
Wow.
We love you.
That went over my head, Becky, until you said it. I was like, wait a tick.
That is our dad's name. Oh my God.
That is our dad's name.
He doesn't listen
Love
to
you,
our
Dad.
podcast. He will never hear this.
Oh, well, I still love him.
We're going to make him listen
also,
to
shout
it.
out to it, yeah.
It? You call our dad it?
You spoke over me and I glitched, okay?
It.
I lost my train of thought.
You heard it here, Dad. You're an it.
An alien.
Yes, a clown. I don't know.
Wait, what?
You know, like It, the clown?
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. Things are going over your
my
head all day.
Sorry, that's just the sound of things flying over my head.
Over and over and over again.
All right, so everyone in Katelyn's life described her as a wonderful human being. And growing up, it became clear to all around her that she was also an artist. And her parents really leaned in on her passion and were her biggest supporters. Her dad recalled her, like an art teacher of hers, calling her a maverick, someone who blossomed in creativity. And now I had to look up what this word meant because my only frame of reference is Maverick from Top Gun.
Knew it.
And it actually makes sense why it was his nickname now, because a maverick is someone who is like a non-conformist and has traits of independence, creativity, and originality.
Mm.
And sometimes they have issues with authority, which in Katelyn's case, I'm not saying that is true, but in Maverick's case, I think it kind of was, right?
Yeah.
Like he would get direct orders and he would just like disregard them.
Totally. He was a total maverick.
That's right. What a maverick.
What a maverick.
And if you guys haven't seen Maverick, the movie, honestly, it's one of my faves. Go watch it.
Oh, I did not know that about you, Bevy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched it like 4 times. Like if I rewatch a movie, you know I like it.
That's true. I just didn't know you rewatched it.
Yes, I did, Becky.
Wow.
I love that
Right.
movie. And Lady Gaga has a great song in it. And it's like, it plays throughout the whole movie, but in different ways. Sometimes it will just be an instrumental of it. And it just really ties the whole film together and gives you this like feeling inside.
I feel like I'm going to have to rewatch this.
Yeah, well, rewatch it, Becky.
I didn't.
It was a good story, too.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. I just only saw it once.
Watch it again.
Done.
Okay. There you go. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the day that Katelyn disappeared. So this happened in August of 2011. Katelyn was days away from her 22nd birthday, and she was also days away from graduating with a graphic arts degree from the Art Institute of Ohio in Cincinnati. And at the time, Katelyn worked at a David's bridal store part-time and lived by herself, and she was engaged to her long-term boyfriend of 6 years, a man named John Carter. Now, the couple had some pretty big plans for after graduation. They wanted to move to Colorado and get married. Which is why when no one could get a hold of Katelyn on August 14th, 2011, everyone became very concerned. Her phone was going straight to voicemail, and she did not show up for her shift at David's bridal. After multiple concerned phone calls from her friends and family, John goes to Katelyn's house where he had last seen her. He noticed her car parked out front. And this stood out to him because she was supposed to be working. How are you going to get to work without your car? Unless it's broken down.
I mean, there's several ways. Uber, cab.
No, there's ways to get there, but
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like, why would you leave your car unless it's broken down? It's the most convenient way, after all.
And I'm sure you would have called your fiance if that was the case.
My car is broken, babe.
Give me a ride, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come fix my car, sweetie pie.
Help me, help me.
So yeah, he thought it was weird because obviously she needed her car to get to work. Now, inside of her place of residence, nothing looked out of the ordinary or broken. Her cell phone was missing and her dog was there all by itself. So at 8 p.m., John decides to call 911 to report his fiancée missing. He told the operator, and I quote, "Hi, my name is John Carter. I'm calling. I know that you're not supposed to report a missing person before 24 hours, but my fiancée is missing and I can't find her anywhere." The operator asked, "When did you see her last?" John said, "I saw her at like 12 o'clock last night. She stays in a house by herself, so I'm really nervous. Her car's still there." The operator asked, "Where was she when you saw her at 12, John?" And he said she was at her house. She was going to bed. She wasn't going out to do anything. She would have been in her bed. I mean, I have been with her for 6 years. She's not deceiving, you know? She's not deceiving. And then the operator asks him, "Okay, and you guys didn't have an argument or anything?" And John said, "Not at all. The only thing that's not there is her cell phone, which is a positive, but she is not answering it, so... And the Sacred Heart Festival is going on right up the street, and there are a lot of questionable people there, and it's just kind of, I'm sorry." He also explained he lived at his mom's home, just a 5-minute walk from Katelyn's home. He explained he left her home and they exchanged a few texts that evening and then went to bed. Now at this point, nobody has any answers as to what happened to Katelyn. Obviously, John Carter, her fiance, has just called the police. And there weren't any clear signs that something had happened, but it just didn't sit well with the people that loved Katelyn. Katelyn's dad later would tell Dateline that from the moment Katelyn disappeared, he didn't know what to think, but it did not feel right. So, police treated it as an urgent missing person case. When they searched her home, Katelyn's car, keys, and even her dog were found at her home. But she hadn't packed anything to go anywhere. And they found out that her cell phone had been turned off at 12:45 a.m. that day. So there are some clear signs that she simply hadn't just left voluntarily.
Mm-hmm. You know,
and if we take note, I mean, her cell phone was turned off rather quickly after she last saw John, right? Like after he left and said goodbye, sent some texts, then her phone like almost immediately goes off.
Yeah. And you know what? As a dog owner, Bev, there's nothing that someone could do to make me voluntarily leave my home without my dog for longer than, 6 to 8 hours max.
Yeah. Like longer than an outing, right?
Yeah.
And especially if there's no one else there to take care of the dog.
Yeah, like they need to
eat. At least you have Jamie at home.
Yeah, he can feed the pets.
Yeah.
But not if I live by myself. So I feel like just the dog alone shows that there's like something a little weird going on.
I would tend to agree with that statement. Now, something that I love about when something tragic happens, I know that sounded weird, but the thing that I do love is that oftentimes when like a sad thing happens in a community, like people band together and help out. And I love that. And this happened in this case because within hours and days, Neighbors and dozens of volunteers joined law enforcement officers to search roads, parks, and creek beds. Katelyn's boyfriend John also joined the searches himself, helping to comb wooded areas for any sign of Katelyn. He had told reporters during the early search efforts, "We're terrified." And in media interviews that summer, he appeared anxious and hopeful, saying, "I just want to find Katelyn and celebrate her birthday with her." He repeatedly had assured everyone he was cooperating fully with police. He's even quoted saying, "I know that I'm more than cooperative. I will always be cooperative until we get Katelyn back." And he was pretty insistent when he said these things. So it seems like the boyfriend is like doing all the right things, right? Like he's helping with the search efforts. He's talking with media, whatever. Because obviously when like someone's partner goes missing, the blame kind of always goes to them, or they're always a person of interest in the case. But it seems like he's kind of going through the motions, at least doing the right things, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was literally just going to say what you said, Bev. He seems like he's doing all the right things. Yeah, to find her.
And wanting her home.
Yeah.
Well, Becky, unfortunately, despite all of the efforts of the community and John Carter, no trace of Katelyn was ever found. And days became weeks, weeks became months. Katelyn's family hung posters, offered a reward, eventually even amounting to $100,000, and they pleaded on TV for help. Friends of hers organized search parties, and a 2016, now this is 5 years after her disappearance, I must mention, but a 2016 memorial film called Taken Too Soon, the Katelyn Markham story, was produced to raise awareness.
I mean, that is some big awareness, Bev.
Yeah, people are doing everything they can.
Mm-hmm. So it's not for a lack of trying, that's for dang sure.
Exactly. And one of her friends even had said that, like, when the film had come out, he hoped the film would stir up a guilty conscience in anyone who knew something. Yet, year after year, the case continued to grow colder. That is until 2 years later, after Katelyn went missing, on April 7th, 2013, a hunter had found skeletal remains in a deep wooded ditch along Big Cedar Road in Cedar Grove, Indiana. And they were, in fact, found to be human remains. The bones were Katelyn's. An anthropologist later reported the body had been badly decomposed. Like, how could it not?
2 years later, no doubt.
Like, seriously?
It would have been a bigger shock if they said, it wasn't.
Fully intact,
Wow.
Actually.
Incredible.
And when the anthropologist had, like, looked at her body, her remains indicated that she'd been dead for 1 to 2 years before the discovery of her remains, and that she was likely moved post-mortem. They also found 3 incised cuts on her left wrist, consistent with a sharp blade. And the wounds were so severe that they even shaved bone and appeared more like dismemberment marks than defensive injuries. However, no other trauma was evident, probably because she was so decomposed.
Mm-hmm.
And investigators found no evidence of animal scavenging on the remains, suggesting Katelyn's body had been kept indoors or otherwise protected during early decomposition.
Right. Now, keep in mind, like, early decomposition happens, like, within days. So it's not like she was kept for, like, a year, year and a half. That meant she only had to be kept for, like, maybe a week or 2.
Right.
You know? Like, it didn't have to be that long. So just in case anyone didn't know.
So after this report came out, local and state police pronounced the death a homicide. Now, what's interesting is a Franklin County coroner in Indiana also agreed. So we have 2 separate people coming to the same outcome. Now, what sucks is because of how decomposed she was, the exact cause of death couldn't really be determined from the remains.
Right. From my understanding is that those little, like, shavings on the wrist bone is all they found. So that's the only thing that they could be like, something happened there. dismemberment.
Obviously something happened, but we just don't know exactly what.
Yeah, just that it was more than just a defensive wound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is probably what led them to the outcome of homicide in the first place.
For sure.
And the fact that her body was like thrown somewhere to decompose.
Yeah, most people don't. Well, I shouldn't say most. Some people do.
No, her body was moved. Her body was moved post-mortem.
Oh,
so
yeah.
She was dead
yeah.
And then it was moved. So there's
Homicide.
that as well. Yeah. It's not shocking they came to that conclusion.
No, it's not.
Now, as you can imagine, the grim discovery of her body and learning about the manner of death shook the community as well as her family. But what's interesting about all of this is that when this information came out, Katelyn's father had said, "I always suspected it was him." And he was referring to her fiancé, John Carter.
Yes.
And now the police never said publicly who they suspected at that time, but they did confirm the remains were Katelyn's and placed a memorial cross at the site, which is all they can do. I mean, the manner of death isn't even out there. That, like, they just found her body. They're not going to go and,
start pointing
name
fingers.
a suspect right away. Exactly. But
they did what they
maybe
could.
the dad had a little bit of intuition.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and it sucks because they don't know, like, the manner of her death. So, you know how sometimes it can, like, kind of point them in the direction of who the killer could be? Like, was it a gun? Stabbing? What type of weapon? Like an axe, a knife, all that stuff, right? And then they can go get a search warrant for someone's home if they slightly suspect someone, And
yeah, they got nothing.
They got nothing. Like, literally nothing to go off of.
Right. And because of that, after 2013, after finding the body, the investigation really stalled.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think the police did what they could, and multiple police agencies, the Fairfield PD, Butler County Sheriff's Office, Indiana State Police, and even the FBI combed records and tips. But unfortunately, it was to no avail. And in 2015, a grieving father, Dave Markham, urged them to open a new inquiry. And the Butler County Sheriff's Office did. Detectives conducted fresh interviews and announced there was a suspect of interest, but they admitted they still lacked enough to make an arrest. And the case remained frustratingly unsolved.
Yeah, because, Bev, as we've talked about, like, so many times, is like, you can suspect someone and have probably, your intuition is on point. You're like, they most likely did it. But again, the law, you don't got the hard evidence. It's like hands are tied, right?
Yeah, you don't really have a case. Like, sometimes cases can be brought on circumstantial evidence, but those are the most frustrating ones that we've covered, right? Because it's not fair. It's like, even if you think and all the evidence that you do have points towards a person, sometimes it's just not fair to send somebody away to prison for the rest of their life based on circumstantial evidence, because there's a lot of times that circumstantial evidence, although very convincing, can be actually pretty wrong.
Oh, for sure. And then on the flip side, it could be completely non-convincing, like with beyond a reasonable doubt that someone did do it, and that person could walk away being acquitted from murder charges, even though they did it, right? So
exactly,
they really have to tread carefully because they don't want to ruin their opportunity with a real suspect.
Yeah.
So it is
absolutely,
I guess, again, as we've learned, smarter to wait until you can really be like, this is what we got on you. Irrefutable. Going to jail.
Exactly. No, totally.
Yeah. But how frustrating for the family, because, like, obviously they're all feeling like it was John Carter.
Yeah, they definitely have a suspect in mind, and they're grieving the loss of their daughter, their close-knit family. They all probably feel that really heavily, and want justice to be served for their loved one.
Yeah.
And, like, who wouldn't want that, right?
Who
so
wouldn't?
I feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you have a body, a homicide took place, but yet justice cannot be served. And the agonizing wait would just be really tough. And unfortunately in this case, because we know the outcome, I don't know that the outcome gives them that much more peace than the agonizing wait. You know what I mean? But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, Bev's just creating a little suspense for you.
Obviously. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I am. Look at me.
You go, Bev.
Anyways.
Just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, it is true. So anyways, over the next several years, the only progress that ends up being made was media attention. As we had said earlier, there was a film made in 2015 about her. And in 2016, a 60-minute documentary was released, drawing a crowd to a film festival debut. And in 2020, an episode of Discovery ID's Still a Mystery revisited the case. Katelyn's family and friends never gave up. Her dad gave interviews, pleaded for witnesses to speak up, and kept her story alive in the press. Her sister Allie even sat in on hearings as a teenager to support the effort. So obviously her family loves her immensely and just refuses to give up on her, hey?
Yeah. You know, we've had some other cases kind of similar in regards to the family has to fight really hard to keep cases alive and like attention on it. And not that other families don't do a good job, but like I feel like this family got really lucky making multiple films about it, you know, stuff like that. Because, you know, like we listen to so many true crime podcasts. Every time there's a new one on Netflix, we watch it, stuff like that. So people really pay attention when there's a show made.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. And it's just nice that her dad does what he does, and same with her sister. Like, I don't know. Obviously, they're putting themselves out there, which is hard to do, right?
Absolutely.
Especially so many years after a disappearance. A lot of people just kind of go, oh, that's old news, you know? Like, stop bringing it up. Like, I don't know. I guess you could open yourself up for criticism in that way. But I think it's admirable, and I think it's important, and I think, I don't know, I'm just proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, because it could be really easy to just give up hope, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of become more recluse about it and just go on with your life.
Yeah.
It could also be easy to
and
do
like
that.
Suffer in silence.
Yeah.
But they're more proactive, and I think that's wonderful.
For sure.
Now that we've kind of like gone over everything that was happening more in the public eye, we're going to talk a little bit about what was quietly going on behind the scenes, because detectives continued re-examining evidence. And in late 2022, the Butler County prosecutor, Michael Moser, confirmed his office was actively investigating and told reporters that he was holding his cards close to his vest. Now, just a year later, in early 2023, new leads finally cracked the case. On February 17th, 2023, Fairfield Police and Butler County investigators arrested Jonathan Palmerton, a man who had been a friend of Katelyn's, on a charge of perjury. Prosecutors said Palmerton lied under oath during a prior grand jury inquiry into Katelyn's case. Though the details are sealed, the move signaled investigators were zeroing in on people close to Katelyn.
Wow. On perjury, Bev. Whoa.
Yeah, like, was he protecting himself or was he protecting somebody else? Why would you lie? Why would you perjure yourself?
Why would you do it? That's a good question, isn't it?
Yes. And I guess we get a couple of answers, because just weeks after they make this move, on March 22nd, there was a stunning development in the case. Butler County prosecutors unsealed an indictment and arrest warrant for John Carter,
Boom.
charging him with Katelyn's murder.
Oh my God.
Body camera footage captured Carter's arrest at a Forest Park bar. The prosecutor, Mike Moser, later said investigators believed Carter and an unnamed accomplice had moved Katelyn's body to Indiana, and even traced the black plastic wrapping around her remains back to Carter's own home.
Oh, shit.
It makes you wonder if the guy who perjured himself was the accomplice. I mean,
No.
I'm not sure, but...
Right? You wonder.
Yeah. Because, like, as you said, why lie? Why would you perjure yourself unless you're, like, protecting someone or yourself, right?
Yeah. That's really the only reason
why. Or both, Becky.
Oh. Ooh.
That's actually pretty interesting. Wow.
Mm-hmm. John Carter, Dave was right.
Dave was right, Becky.
Yeah.
Now, during his arraignment on March 27th, Carter's attorney pleaded not guilty on his behalf and requested a bond hearing, while Moser publicly revealed key evidence. And that evidence was that in 2011, so the same year that Katelyn disappeared, he had noticed fresh red scratch marks on Carter's neck that Carter first blamed on shaving and later could not explain. Phone and computer records showed suspicious deletions. Katelyn's phone went silent at 12:06 a.m., August 14, 2011.
Which, remember, he said that he was texting Katelyn after he left her house that night.
And he last saw her around 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm. So if it, like, why would it have seemed to go silent when he said they were texting? That's the weird thing, right?
Exactly. So true. And I just want to clarify. Her phone going silent probably means she's not responding to texts, but her phone officially went off, like turned off at 12:45.
Yes.
Okay. So apparently investigators found that Carter had deleted all texts exchanged with Katelyn from his own phone on the night she disappeared. They also noted that in each of 3 polygraph tests Carter had voluntarily took over the years, he took one in 2011, 2014, and 2021, he gave deceptive responses, including specifically on the question of whether he had disposed of Katelyn's body.
I know lie detector tests are not, concrete evidence.
Foolproof?
Yeah, foolproof.
Yeah.
But damn. That's a big question to try and deceive the police on all 3 times. Like, that is consistent.
100%.
That consistency is unreal and concerning.
Totally. Also him deleting his text messages, right?
Yeah, and also, they can still get them, right?
Yeah. You're the last person to see her alive. You delete your text messages. Her phone shortly after that goes silent. You're the one to call the police, and you fail a lie detector test? What? It's looking pretty bad for our buddy John Carter over here, Becky.
It sure is.
Other pieces of evidence came from eyewitnesses' accounts, and they painted a troubling portrait. A coworker recalled being with Katelyn and Carter on the night she vanished. She said Katelyn seemed distant and not her typical bubbly self. After the friend left around 10:45 p.m., Katelyn was alone with Carter in the house. Later, another friend told police that in the months before her disappearance, Katelyn had confided that she felt trapped in her relationship with Carter. Katelyn had complained about Carter's heavy drug use, obsession with pornography, and controlling, jealous behavior, things that all made her very unhappy. Forensic searches also yielded damning clues. Police obtained search warrants for Carter's old home, his mother's house in Fairfield, which, as we know, was 5 minutes away from Katelyn's. And there they found a stash of landscaping plastic exactly matching the material wrapped around Katelyn's body. Investigators collected a roll of landscaping material from the shed on the property and noted Carter's name on binders of strange notes, drawings of an angel in the woods, and poetry about death and killing. Each piece of evidence painted Carter in a pretty dark light. He had both the motive and the means.
Mm-hmm. What if she was trying to break up with him?
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the potential motive right there.
For sure.
Obviously, she wasn't too happy in their relationship. I mean, he kind of seems to be a shitty partner, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Like drug use, porn, controlling, blah, blah, blah. Like, all just seems terrible.
Right.
Now, Becky, that being said, even though he had the motive and the means, everything that we've kind of talked about that really do paint him in a pretty dark light and point towards him being responsible for her death, the evidence that they've gathered is largely circumstantial evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about the ups and downs of circumstantial evidence and cases that are tried with all circumstantial evidence. So that's a pretty big bummer.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, getting justice, right?
For sure.
Just because there's so much gray area and so many things could happen.
Yeah.
That aren't in favor of the family and people who love her.
Right? And like, you know, to be honest, writing a dark poem about harming your loved one, or I think he said kill her in one of them, is what I read. But it sounds horrible, but you know, it's poetry at the end of the day. No matter what it says, it's like, it's poetry. Terrible poetry.
Pretty dark poetry. But I get what you're saying. Like, it could be an allegory for something else.
Oh, good word, Bev.
Well, I literally don't know if I used the right word.
Oh.
I just, it's like allegory. That seems like something that fits in this sentence. I do that a lot. Craig's always like, that is not the right word
like
to
it
use
sounded.
in the sentence. I'm like, I get it right like 8 times out of 10. So I'll take my chance on the 2 times that I might get it wrong.
Oh my God, Bev.
So in this particular instance, even though a lot of the evidence was circumstantial, the case against John Carter quickly solidified and they kind of moved forward with it. So he was charged with 2 counts of felony murder. One alleging he purposefully killed Katelyn, another that her death occurred during a violent felony.
Yeah.
Investigators believe the fatal incident occurred between the late evening of August 13th and the early morning of August 14th, 2011. Which, obviously. Avi. During the arraignment hearing, Judge Dan Haye imposed a $1 million bond, later posted by Carter, and they ordered a GPS monitoring because of his release, citing both Carter's ties to the community and the serious charges. Katelyn's father and sister sat in the courtroom wearing Katelyn's favorite color and holding photos of her, determined to finally see justice after 12 years.
That is a long time coming.
No doubt, 12 years. My God. And I mean, how lame would it be to have finally all of this going through and to have some guy who is suspected of killing your daughter get out on bond? Are you effing kidding me?
Like, he's already been free.
He was able to post a $1 million bond? Shut the fuck up.
No one ever does that. Well, that's not true, but you know, in a lot of our cases, it's like 10,000, 30,000 people can't even get that. And yet we're talking about a $1 million bond.
Right?
God.
So, I mean, if he so happened to be innocent, I mean, I would want to be free too, like if I was him.
Sure.
But for her family, that must just be a big old kick in the dick, Rebecca.
Yeah, pretty painful, I'm sure.
Yes. And Carter did remain free on bond in the weeks that followed. He maintained his innocence in brief statements through attorneys, but the evidence, both digital and testimonial, kept piling up. Court documents and discovery included over 60 witness interviews and polygraph records, phone logs, Katelyn's own letters, and emails from the days before she disappeared. All of this was exchanged as both sides prepared for trial. Behind the scenes, investigators and digital forensic experts pieced together Katelyn's final hours. On WKNO TV, Prosecutor Moser later remarked that even without knowing exactly how she died, the supporting evidence was compelling. He stated, "Even a body is not necessary to have a conviction," which was a reference to other cases of murder convictions without a known cause of death. Which, yeah, I mean, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the jury was correct in all those cases. And hopefully no one innocent is in jail.
Yeah, right. You're like,
but
okay.
It does happen.
Yeah.
So Carter ended up being scheduled to go to trial on June 24th, 2024. But on June 7th, 2024, mere weeks before his trial was set to begin, he took a different path. In Butler County Common Pleas Court, John Carter pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter in Katelyn's death. In exchange, prosecutors dropped the more serious murder charges. By pleading guilty, Carter formally admitted that he had accidentally caused Katelyn's death during a misdemeanor assault, though he never publicly explained what had actually happened that night.
If I was
at the plea hearing...
Go
ahead. I want to hear you say what a bullshit bitch fucking thing. Go ahead. Tell me.
Yeah, that was a bullshit bitch fucking move. But...
right?
Yeah. But specifically, if, like, to me, if I'm a prosecutor, I would demand, be like, I want to know the specifics of what happened, or you don't get the goddamn plea. If you're just wanting to kind of brush it under the rug, be like, oh, it wasn't an accidental death by assault. I didn't even mean to do it. Oh, you know, like maybe they got in a fight. It's like, maybe that was a case. I don't know. But I would demand the goddamn details. I want to know what you did, because if you can't even admit to it, you don't deserve a plea. You little bitch. God. Sorry, I'm angry about it. Like, ugh.
She's raging, y'all. I get it, but as a little side note that you're going to be like, ugh, and roll your eyes at me for saying, there's no way to actually know that what he tells him is the truth. So it does not much, I don't think, anyways.
No, I get what you're saying, Bev.
There's the eye roll, guys. There's the eye roll.
Because I get it. I get what you're saying. But I'd be like, how does she get those wrist shavings? She didn't do them herself. Surely you have an explanation. Was it a knife?
Yeah.
Was it an axe?
Well, like, how can it be so accidental if those injuries occurred, actually?
Like, that doesn't seem like an accident. An accident to me is like, I shoved her out of pure rage and
she fell and, like, hit her head.
And died.
Yeah.
Or, like, I thought she was dead and maybe I rolled her in gardening plastic and then she suffocated to death. Like, to me, that is a complete, well, not complete accidents because you shoved her, but that could at least, you know, equal a manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, whereas, like, those injuries don't suggest to me that it was involuntary or accidental by any means. So, like, it's just, like, such a piss off that that's what his plea was. And that's even, but, you know, on the flip side, like we were kind of talking earlier, I did say, because of the evidence, because there's not, like, super hardcore evidence and, like, almost direct proof, is it better that they get any conviction than the risk of him being found innocent on a murder charge and not going to jail at all? So that is the toss-up right there. So, God, I feel like I just made myself feel better about this by saying that.
You talked yourself into us, like,
a rational explanation for this plea.
Yeah, it makes sense, actually. That does make a little bit more sense, especially because it is largely circumstantial, right?
Yeah, so, but
it sucks. It fucking sucks.
Logic aside,
like, no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah, and if I was Katelyn's family, I would still be pissed with that outcome.
Absolutely. And at the plea hearing, Katelyn's family packed the courtroom. Her father read a victim impact statement, voice shaking, telling the judge, "Not a day goes by I don't think of Katelyn. 13 years of hell." He begged the court to impose the harshest possible sentence so that Carter would, quote unquote, let him feel the pain that many of us have endured for over a decade. The prosecutor pointed to Carter's writings and the forensic report on her remains, underscoring the brutality of what he had done. But Carter himself remained silent.
I'm choosing not to say anything because I think he's a little bitch.
That's okay, Becky. You're allowed to. Maybe it'll just be me talking for the rest of this whole podcast because it doesn't get better.
If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Okay, guys, we're done. That's the end of the podcast. No. I'm Just kidding. So on July 18th, 2024, the sentence is handed down by the judge. 36 months. 3 years in prison. This was the maximum allowable under the manslaughter plea agreement, but still, 3 years.
3
According
years.
to news accounts, yes. The judge noted that Carter had shown no genuine remorse for Katelyn's death. Carter did not speak at the sentencing at all. And he's not going to be eligible for a release until 2027, which it's already 2025, so that's wild.
Yeah.
And the outcome left many in the courtroom sobbing. They probably had a little bit of relief at finally seeing a conviction, period, but heartbreak at the same time because the outcome felt just like so inadequate.
Seriously.
For the loss of their loved one.
You know, like, listen to this perspective, okay? My very first brand new car I ever bought. How many years did it take to pay me off? Pay it off. 7. 7 years.
7.
I paid off a car. And he's in jail for killing someone for 3 years. The fuck?
Yeah. It's a very sad outcome. And her dad told reporters it hardly feels like justice for Katelyn. Like, it didn't sit right with him at all.
Of course not. Because it's bogus. You know, Beth, okay, I think the law needs to be, like, restructured. Because, like,
okay,
this is like, maybe it was manslaughter, maybe it wasn't. Either way, it was very brutal. And 3 years should not have even been the maximum. Imagine if he showed some remorse. He might have got less, you know? But, like, he killed someone. Do you think 3 years is enough? There should be, like, tears in that tears of, like, conviction or sentencing, for, like, the brutality of each crime. You know? It's like if you accidentally killed someone with a vehicle and you know, it was just a simple accident, sure. Maybe no prison time or very minimal, right? But it's like you made a choice and you killed someone. Even if you were argument. If anything, that's like a crime of passion. Not that we really know what happened.
And then you went through a lot of effort to get rid of her remains, right? Hoping that they would never be found. Like,
yeah, and you lied. You deceived people for years. If it was truly like an accident, why not be like, oh yeah, you know what? I killed her. If it really was an accident. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
maybe,
come out and say it. And he never did, right? Only when he was
kind of
pressed with the possible outcome of life in prison did he admit anything.
Yeah, and just a tidbit. So that's why I'm saying, like, the law should be restructured so that there's like tiers of manslaughter, like jail time. Because he definitely deserved more than 3 years, even if he took a plea, you know? 3 years is insane. I can't get over it. I'm sorry. Carry on, Bev. I could go on for days here.
Well, Becky, because you could go on forever and we gotta, at some point, end this. I'm going to leave everyone with this little tidbit of information. You can decide, because this was a largely circumstantial case. Obviously, he was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, and he's doing time for it. But there is some evidence that was highlighted in the exhibits, in the court exhibits, that would have been shown in trial that kind of, I don't know, portray a guy who is a little more dark and has dark thoughts. Prosecutor Moser described the notes that are these exhibits as the struggle of the demon within Carter. And these notes said, "Deep down, I love her. She must die. I slit your wrist with the key to your heart."
Damn.
Yeah. So I'll leave you guys with that. And you can be the jury on this one.
Was this an evil man who intentionally killed his girlfriend and planned this? Or was he caught up in a moment and involuntarily killed her?
Now, before we wrap up for good, I just wanted to end on a more positive note because Katelyn lost her life. And her friends and the community remember her as being vivacious and kind. In 2022, dozens of friends and neighbors gathered at a park in Fairfield to celebrate what would have been her birthday, one that she didn't get to celebrate. They chalked the sidewalks with rainbow hearts and drew pictures honoring her love of color and art. Organizer Tina Barrett explained that Katelyn loved life. She loved art, she loved color, and expressed that they wanted to carry that forward. And Katelyn's father agreed. The family even established annual art events in her memory, donating proceeds to arts, education, and domestic violence charities in her name. So, a theme that has kind of been throughout this is the unwavering love of her parents and her family, and that they never gave up hope, as you had said, and that continues to this day. So I kind of want to end it on that note because I think that's important.
Right, absolutely. That's what we need to remember her by.
Well, Becky, that is all I have for you. That's the case of Katelyn Markham. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.